Such a long break. Basically, an entire month break that we're having to see here from One Piece. What's up, babes? Welcome to 2024. Just like last year and the year before, it is still the year of One Piece, believe it or not. This video is basically just me, like, what's going to happen in 2024 with One Piece. Oda said, I'm trying to remember exactly when, but he said about like a year and a half ago that One Piece only has, he said like 3 to 5 years, something like that. But I don't think Oda knows what he's talking about, because twice, he's done this before. And I just feel like there's so much that even if you do it on like a sped up schedule, Oda's not going to like crash and burn. Like, I truly believe that One Piece will have a superb ending, which is like rare. But if it does, it's going to go down as like the best. I mean, it's already kind of there with all the extra content that's being made. I mean, the old piece is turning into brand new, like they're refurbishing the old stuff. They got the live action season 2. I think that's coming out in next year. They're just doing so much with it. There's probably going to be another movie even after that fact, but just like the merch and everything that they're able to do with One Piece is insane. And I don't think that's why that it's going to continue to go. I just think that Oda has a fuller plate than he thought. When I first saw Vegapunk, and then obviously we went through Kuma's story and all that, I was like, okay, like he's really getting around to some important topics that have been ongoing. But if you look at the catalog of questions that still need to be answered, islands that still need to be visited, I'm like, there's no way you're rushing through these things. There's no way. And I think Egghead is the perfect example of why One Piece is... I think One Piece ends in 2030. I think it's going to end in 2030. Oda, I guess, was guessing 2026, but I don't really see that happening. Almost all of 23 was Egghead, right? Does that sound about right? I think it was all Egghead. And I think that we're going to be finishing up Egghead pretty quick. I'm thinking summer. I'm guessing like May is when this is going to end. Just because whatever this big event is, it's going to be pretty big. And then we're going to see how that affects the world. And then we have to see what the revolutionaries are up to, because they're endgame people. And then I don't think we're going to see Shanks. But then that leads to my next point, which is Oda said that they're finally going to go there soon. And I think that we're going to be seeing Elbaf around late summer to fall is my guess. And that, even if it's quick, because Egghead was supposed to be quick, and it was a year and a half, and it was quick. I mean, it felt to me like it was really quick, but it really wasn't with everything that we had to do. We had to look at, I would love to say the last supernova, but that's not even the last supernova that we have to dig into, which I think that they've also done a really good job of doing that. But Yorog's still somewhere doing something. He could pop out at Elbaf and just kind of have his own little character arc, but I don't know. So I think that Elbaf kind of has to be bigger than Egghead. And then whatever that is, that leads into whatever Shanks is doing. And if he's going after the One Piece, I don't know what that means. And I think that they're going to keep us in suspense with Shanks for as long as they possibly can. Which means that he's not going to be at Elbaf. He's going to be gone at that point. They're going to be having to figure out where he went and like how they're going to get there. And then whatever that meet's going to look like, because then we have to get to Raftel. And if we're getting to Raftel, then what's Imu doing at this point? Like, the world's going to shit. The revolutionaries are doing what they're doing. And, I mean, I've been saying it for a while, and I don't even think it's that hot of a take. But, like, this is going to end in somewhat of a war arc. Somewhat. Now, what that's going to look like is going to be interesting. But the big bads are, like, Shanks, Dragon, Blackbeard, Imu. And to have all of them, Dragon hasn't even been developed yet. Like, we haven't really seen that much. We've seen glimpses of him in Kuma's backstory, and I think that's very intentional and well done by Oda to kind of show us that, hey, like, this is kind of what Dragon's about. This is kind of what Dragon's doing, but we still don't know. And if you don't think that his flashback's going to be hot, if you don't think Shanks' flashback is going to be hot, like, there's so much content, it's insane. It's insane. Like, we just got into the Will of D. And we found out that there's a letter, and there's a lady connected to it who could be Imu. That sounded ugly. It could be rocks. We didn't even get to finish what happened on God Valley. We don't even know what happened there. We don't know if Shanks was there to begin with. We don't know. There's so much we do. Jinbei hasn't even really. We don't know Jinbei's past. They could kind of skip over that. I'd be upset. They could kind of skip over that. But his big thing is like he's the first son of the sea. He's like the leader fishman. And that being such a big thing with the racism and everything that's going on with the Celestial Dragons, that's got to be something that they touch on. Plus, like the giants and everything like that. I don't think Kaido and Big Mom are dead. What does that look like? We're finally getting into one of the admirals, like really getting in there and like, okay, we're kind of seeing what they're about, but there's so much more. Sakazuki, I could have added him to that list but I don't think that I'm going to, because of the fact that Blackbeard, I guess, kind of too. We don't necessarily need their like past. We don't need it. Like Sakazuki is already a tremendous villain just because of what he's done on screen. We don't necessarily need his backstory, but it would be entertaining and fun to see his backstory. The Seraphims and like them taking over the world and how the geography of the world is changing and what that's going to look like and what is everybody's place in this. And don't even get me started with Mihawk. I don't know. There's just so much for them to like end it in 3 years is insane. It's insane. We just learned that the Gorosei can fight. We just learned that. And we don't even know what his power really is yet. We don't know what that is. We don't know where fruits come from. We don't know jack shit. And this guy's like, we're gonna be done in about 2 years. And I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And I think that the reason he keeps saying that is because he thinks that this is going to develop faster than it actually is, but it's not, which is fine. And I do think that this back half will be sped up. I think Wano might be the biggest arc in One Piece, besides debatably like the last war arc, but I think that Wano's going to probably take the cake. Because I think he learned from Kishimoto's mistake, and he's like, I don't need this to be that drawn out, which I will debate was not very drawn out in the manga, but in the anime, my God, was it drawn out. And I don't think that he wants that to like sour the taste of his beautiful creation. So what I'm trying to say is I'm excited to make some more videos this year on some chapters that are going to be tasty. We're going to be learning a lot, hopefully this year, because if he thinks he's going to end it, which he's not, there's going to be a lot that he's going to be dishing out in terms of info, in terms of answering some of these questions, and it's going to be some good stuff. I hope you guys are excited for this year as much as I am. I hope you saw that new opening, because it was hot. I don't know if they're changing the art style for Egghead, but I'm down to see it if they are. I think they probably are. They're probably getting some motivation from the people over at MAPPA, but yeah. It's going to be a good year, guys. You guys take care. I'll probably see you. I don't think a chapter's coming out until next week. I think late next week there's going to be a chapter. So I'll probably see you then. But until then, adios, babes. Take care. Peace out.